Sorry.
I just
Let's call the meeting of April
I
22nd
don't
to order.
recall ever doing any enforcement of fire hydrants.
Pledge allegiance, all lead, please stand. Face the flag if you would. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Atanian, can you do a roll call for us?
Yes, sir. Captain Chevalier?
Present.
Chief Malott?
Here.
Chief Mall?
Here.
Chair Bercuda?
Here.
Vice Chair Greenwald?
Here,
Committee Member Roden is not in attendance, and Committee Member Hazelton.
here.
Good. Okay, seeing there's no presentations today or special orders of business, I'll go right to minutes from last month.
I'll move to approve, unless it was punctuation, I didn't see any errors.
Oh.
I'll second that if you're good with that.
Good. Move to second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving right along. Any communications from the oral or written communications that we have here?
Do not.
None saying. Okay. Anybody in the public want to speak at all? Oh, they're good there too. All right. So let's go to reviews and recommendations. Procure ambulance performance measures, if we can. Look at the report here. It's dated January 24th. Encompasses the fourth quarter in the city, which is October, November, December of 24. Not seeing any gross changes that I can see. Any comment from the fire department on the Falk ambulance stuff?
Yeah, very good.
I have a question. Shane, you said that the ambulances that are in-house, okay, whenever you guys call out, they go with you, right?
Correct.
Are they putting this as code 2 and code 3 responses?
Either code 2 or code 3, depending on the call.
So a majority of these could be non-ambulance calls. They just rolled with you.
Any medical aid call will get us in an ambulance. If it's a service call, like it's a back to bed, which we do go on sometimes, people can't get back in bed, and we'll go help them. If we know it's not a medical aid, then an ambulance doesn't come with us, or if it's a fire or things like that. But any medical aid, we have an ambulance.
Okay.
Yeah, always.
So I didn't.
And they never go alone. They're always with us.
Okay, I didn't know that there was the distinction there. Okay, because when you said they roll with us, I go, okay, well, I'm saying,
Right. Yeah, they don't.
Where does they go to that they're not really needed? How many?
They still come on structure fires. We do request them on working structure fires, just in case there's a patient. But other service calls or things like that, they don't respond with us.
Appreciate it.
They do facility transfers too, though, right? Sometimes, or
Not the ones in San Clemente.
okay, all right.
There's no hospital here. But yeah, Falk in theory does do a lot of inter-facility transfers throughout the rest of the county. But the 2 dedicated San Clemente ambulances don't leave the city without being on a call with us.
Cool.
Yeah, it's real nice.
You have to remind us we don't have a hospital here.
I know.
But fortunately, to supplement that, we have these 2 ambulances that are mandatory, and they'll back it up when we lose one.
Yeah, they do a good job of keeping 2 in the city for sure.
The things you have to watch for is holding the wall, because that sometimes ties up an engine and an ambulance. Sometimes. And that can get kind of strange after a while.
That can get tough, yeah. We're during busy times.
Also, I know LA has a huge problem with fire and paramedic responses to homeless. Do we have a lot of that here or not?
Believe it or not, no. We go on them from time to time for medical aids or just to assess them or whatever when people call. But I've asked the crews if it's not a large response, but not a large percentage of our responses are due to homeless at all.
Thanks, Shane.
Yeah, unfortunately, let's go into the fire report, if I may.
All right.
Performance measure.
So yeah, you see second quarter, actually it was a little slower than the first quarter, which was good. New construction permits were down. Annual fire inspections were up. They tick up pretty quick right now. We're in inspection season where we get out and do a lot of inspections for this first half of the year. So that will probably grow a lot, especially when we hit that third quarter there. Because third quarter more hits like the January through March timeframe. Plan checks about the same. Call processing time still 55 seconds. So that's incredible. I think the national standards are meant in 5, I believe. So our call processing time has continued to be really low, which is really good. And that's just time of the call coming into our 911 center to a engine being dispatched to the call. And then our effectiveness, 80% of the time we meet that 8.5 minutes. So we go off of fractile percentage. Essentially, we used to give the averages of our response times, but averages are hard to get a good feel for because some calls are real quick right around the corner, some calls take longer, so averages come out actually to a prettier picture than going off of the percentage that we're actually meeting 830 standard. So this gives us, it doesn't look so pretty on paper because we used to hit, we were averaging like 7 minutes and 30 seconds, on a call. But this gives us a better ballpark. 80% of the time we're getting there in that 8.5 minutes, which is our goal, which plays into everything we do as far as evaluating standards of coverage throughout the whole county and things like that. So we're hitting 80%, which actually is a tick up, which is really good. St. Louis tough. It's a lot of windy roads. It's not like some of our cities in the north part of the county that are just perfect grids. So some of the call response times are a little bit longer just because the drive time. But those are getting better, which is good. So, any questions you guys have? It's pretty.
I do.
Please.
Compared to, I don't know if you're at your level to get together and talk about these response times. How's it compared to the other areas?
It's good. We're slower, I would say, overall on the overall response time. I'm being totally honest. Than some of the other areas. Like I said, up in the west end of the city, west end of the county, the northwest end, all the streets are perfect grids, and there's fire stations kind of spaced out similar to us, but they're even closer in a lot of places. And so the engines just get there a lot quicker. It's big open streets. San Clemente, we're down kind of at the tip of the spear on a little peninsula by ourselves a little bit, and between the 3 engines, the drive time takes longer getting through the windy roads and things like that in the narrower streets. So I will say
and more hills.
And a lot of hills. Like if you ever followed Truck 59 trying to climb La Pata, it's a little bit slower than everybody would like. But it is what it is. There's steep hills and things like that. So 80% our goal is to hit that 830 at the 90 percentile mark. So that's something we continue to work on. How can we get up and out quicker? Fortunately, the call processing times are getting faster, so at least the crews are getting notified. We're pressing them to get out of the station as fast as they can, but the drive time is just hard to control, especially on busy narrow streets around here. It gets a little bit slower at times. So overall, I'd say we're slower in San Clemente than other areas, but that's just the nature of the terrain and stuff around here.
Well, I think the main issue here is that you can be slower as long as you get there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Some of these guys, like to get there as fast as they can, and they're yahooing it. And,
Yeah.
You don't want to blow those intersections.
Yeah,
there's
it's
some crazy drivers here.
You guys all know driving like El Camino Real and all these streets. There's kids everywhere, so the crews they definitely take care getting through the city for sure. But we're definitely not going to be flying to a call because there's really no need if we run somebody over on the way or get in an accident. So But yeah, I like to see the 80th. I would love to get us up to the 90th percentile. Be tough, but we're working towards it.
Equipment. Do you have a need for updated or additional equipment?
No, we're doing good. The engine 50 is a little older. We'll probably get a new engine. We have a vehicle replacement plan through the agency. The city actually pays for part of the replacement plan anyway with part of your contract. But engine 50 is older. I believe it's to be replaced in this next possible batch of engines. Engine 60 is a good engine. And then truck 59 is newer. I think truck 59 is only a couple years old, but it's actually going to get a new truck probably beginning of next year. We're going to put a brand new, same looking truck, but a newer one, has a little more power for the hills, which is nice.
And that's a Quint?
That's a Quint, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a Quint.
Are you getting good vibes on these Quints?
Yeah, the crews love the
Breaking
Quints.
down? Is
Yeah, the crews love the Quints. Trucks obviously have a lot more maintenance than the engines do per se, but the truck in San Clemente is a good truck. It doesn't go out of service as much as some of our other trucks. And we just ordered, we got 4 trucks coming this year, and we just ordered another 3. Those will be the big tiller trucks. So we're constantly ordering trucks. Problem is, trucks take 3 years to get here once we make the order. So
That's
it's,
finance.
what's that?
You have to pay for them.
And we gotta pay for
And
them.
they're going up in price.
Yeah, they continue to go up in price, which is incredible. So, yeah, the as far as apparatus and everything in the city, we're good. The Tech 3 at Station 50 is a new Tech 3, so yeah, we're doing good.
Okay, what about these dipper things? Are you guys?
The helipods?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would love to work with the city a little bit to try and evaluate the opportunity to kind of get a helicopter. If you don't know what a helipod is, it's basically a fire hydrant for helicopters. There's a whole bunch of different styles. The one we've been successful in getting recently is off Ortega out at Quest Diagnostics. We put one out there. It looks like a Connex box, essentially. It's hooked to a fire hydrant, and once it's turned on, it's all automated. So it constantly fills up as the helicopters pull from it. We just put another one in Aliso as well. So we are working with the city on an opportunity to hopefully get one here in the city with aviation assets on a fire. That turnaround time is the key for the helicopters,
Yeah.
and it's where they have to go pull water. Fortunately, too, for San Clemente is that the reservoir on the backside of Talega there is very full, and so we utilize that. But the more water points we have, definitely the better. So we're trying to work with the city on finding a spot for that. But
As long as the St. Anna's don't blow too hard and ground all the air equipment.
yeah, exactly. You can't always count on aviation when the winds are blowing that hard. But
Hey, do what you can.
yeah, absolutely.
Any lessons learned from the LA County fires that you can put into practice here?
I think there's gonna be a lot of lessons that'll come over time.
Mm-hmm.
I think, in theory, the mutual aid system worked. They were, everybody kind of flooded resources pretty quickly in to help them, which is something over the last few years we've been really working out. Is the process for calling for resources when you need it. It used to be a little longer process as far as you got to get approval. Now there's pretty good things in place between LA and ourselves. Ventura, things like that, where we can make a phone call and at least get fire engines on the road. So that was a pretty good learning point this time around to see how many apparatus went that way. I think everybody's learned to staff up as many resources as they can for those weather events. We fortunately did. We had every fire engine that was rolling in service during that wind event, which paid off, as you guys saw in this fire here. And we had a few other ones. So we'll continue to do that. That was a really good lesson learned. We staffed up everything, our DOC. So everything was in place for a major event, and we got really lucky and didn't have any major events. And I think we'll continue to learn the effects of the materials that are burning in these fires. It's a different wildfire environment than it used to be, where you could go and the smoke and the homes could be on fire, and it was a fire. It was, obviously you didn't want to eat a lot of smoke, but now there's a lot of Tesla. Every driveway has a burning Tesla, and everybody has solar on their homes and lithium-ion batteries and things like that. So there was a lot of firefighters that came back really sick from that fire. So I think we're monitoring our firefighters that went. I know LA is and everybody. Unfortunately, that's gonna be one what we're gonna find out 10 years down the road what the real impact of that was. But they are looking at a whole bunch of different options on how can we protect our firefighters more when they're on these types of wildland urban interface type fires. Right? You know, we can't walk around in our SCBAs on these all the time, but is there opportunity to find ways to protect their health essentially long term on these? Because people are sick, real sick coming back from that. So that was definitely, I wouldn't say we've learned quite yet what the lesson is, but the studies and stuff that's going into it, I think is going to play into the next generation of firefighters pretty well. So that'll be good.
That's good.
But,
One other question. On last month, we had the thing with the Red Set Go guys,
yeah.
the fire marshal guys. In the performance measures here, I don't think they measure how many residential inspections are done in the city.
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't see it. Can you tell us how many, is it increasing or is it?
It's increasing by a lot right now. So the CAL FIRE maps just came out as a hot topic. So just for reference, every single structure that is within the very high zone, our inspectors go and inspect every year. So I think in San Clemente, even leading up to this year, was like 1,700 homes. But I think it just went up with the growth of the map by like another 1,000 to 50, I can't remember the exact number, but a lot.
Okay.
Which I could get that. That's probably a good number to show just how many homes we're out inspecting. Some cities, some areas went down, believe it or not, and how many. San Clemente, definitely there's a lot more homes now we'll be inspecting, which is good. In the big picture of just making sure the homes are safe and all that. But they do a lot of home inspections.
And how would the citizens, apply for this? It's a free service, right?
So the homes in the very high are automatic. We have the addresses and we automatically inspect those. And that's more just to inspect, make sure they're meeting the code. And as code changes, we may have to work with occupants on the immediate zone around homes is one that's kind of a hot topic. And there's a code that may change with that, but that 5-foot space around their homes. So at some point in the near future, once that's in place, when we do those inspections, we'll end up having to talk to the resident about keeping the 5-foot area around their home clear. Those are the mandatory inspections. If any resident, even if they're nowhere near the fire severity zone, which, as you've seen in Altadena and the Pacific Palisades and all that, it doesn't matter how close you are to the brush, right? It's the embers. Any resident can book a free tour where the same inspectors, they'll come out to their house, and that one's more just an educational inspection. They'll come out, they walk your whole property, give you a checklist of everything you need to do to make your home fire safe, essentially, harden your home. And those are really, really good. I recommend everybody takes advantage of that. And people can book that on the website at ocfa.org/RSG for Ready, Set, Go. And there's a link right there that says book your free home assessment. And it's a really good tool. I'll try and bring numbers on that next year because there's a decent amount of people in San Clemente that historically have taken part in that. But they did say they have gotten a large uptick of people that are interested in that, which makes me very happy because I think everybody saw what happened and realized they could take advantage of every tool they got to keep their homes safe. Yeah.
Well, unlike Altadena, where a lot of our 100-year-old homes that had no sprinklers inside. Right. We started in 76 getting, I guess San Clemente is known for the push for for sprinklers.
Yeah, Coleman was huge on getting those sprinklers installed in homes. So that's a big thing. And yeah, the new construction throughout the city, a lot of the newer areas are built really well with the home hardening. There's still stuff that people can do just they wouldn't think of when they come out to inspect it. Like, I hadn't thought about that. So it's definitely worth it, and definitely the older homes.
Yeah, on the other side of the freeway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The 100-year-old homes here.
Exactly.
I got it. So, good.
One of the other things from the Palisades fire was the non-working fire hydrants. And apparently LAFD inspects every fire hydrant once a year. Do you folks do the same thing?
We do not. The water departments do. So most of the water departments, I haven't seen. Well, sorry, I was saying that. Most of the water departments have spoken at different council meetings as of yet. So, but the water departments do a really good job of keeping an eye on the reservoirs, backup generators for all their pumps, testing their fire hydrants, things like that. But we don't personally inspect fire hydrants.
Thanks.
Good. Any questions?
No, I concur with everything he said.
You can call my bluff if you want.
You're right on. As far as I can tell.
Oh,
I've been out of the business for 13 years.
Oh, we love this stuff. Okay. Anybody else have a question that way? No? Good. Any new business that we have to attend to? Anything there, Adam? No? We're good? Okay, let's get into our annual work plan stuff. Communications Disaster Preparedness Project. I don't have a whole bunch. I found with the tsunami update, I've been looking around at different communities. Jason, down at Balboa Island, I found one of the kiosk maps. The state does a great job, but they need to have something to deal with. So we're still working on that one. And eventually we'll get some good product out of it. Let's see, it was a good presentation last month on the Ready, Set, Go thing. That was really good. Homeless and best management practices for public safety personnel project. Anybody have any update on that one? I don't think so. Neighborhood Watch.
Okay, as usual, Ryan is out running around with his hair on fire here. He's got a community meeting set up in Maxburg for next Monday night. He's got 3 more block captains set up in the communities at North Beach. And he's going to have more meetings going through the summer. Forester Highlands, he's got 4 applicants for block captains, and be coordinating meetings in the respective communities in the next week, and definitely going to substantial coverage throughout the city. Also, you guys have a great program that I've never seen before, and I really, my hat's off to you on the police escort to school. Great visibility for you, and a great fundraiser for the schools that you help facilitate. And I guess they're raising a lot of money with those. So thank you, Chief. Really nice. Natalia, did you have that picture that I sent you?
Just give me 1 second.
Also next month is Bicycle Safety Awareness Month. Super 73, it's a big bike company, and Ryan's working with them to put together a project to educate the local kids. And also, I don't know how I did it, but
Is that the
this
vehicle
is
they pick the kids up in?
no, but this
Cool.
this magically appeared. Chief, you may want to say something about it, but apparently this is a freebie. So
Yes, sir. Our friends to the north, our friends over in Dana Point were gracious enough to donate that to us. We've got it just about outfitted. We're just in time for the summer.
great.
What is it?
It's just an off-road vehicle to better equip the deputies to assist marine safety officers and lifeguards with keeping the beaches safe.
So you can get it on the sand, all right?
Yes, sir.
Great move, Chief. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure, what brand is it?
I believe it's that Polaris. I could be very wrong, but I believe it's Polaris.
The headlights look like Polaris.
So it's a lightweight thing, it's not a heavy vehicle. The color looked like it was a military car or something, you know, I'm going, boy, that's pretty heavy.
No, it's certified.
This one's just a
Just a four-wheeler.
yeah, okay.
So, Ryan is doing a great job. I'm seeing your people out all the time, Chief. You guys had a perimeter set around my house a few weeks ago. Never did find out the Duke was up, but no, you guys do a great job. Thank you very much.
Good job.
That's it.
Human trafficking, I don't know if we've had anything new on that one.
No.
Not that I've heard or seen.
E-bike and traffic safety, well, we're all watching for that one.
Has that been adopted yet, or is it has, right?
For the city?
The city, that
Yeah.
policy, it's all adopted, right?
Yes, the ordinance that the committee drafted was adopted a few months ago at the city council.
Yeah. Technology review, I don't think we have anything on that. And park ranger program, anybody have anything on that one? Yeah.
I don't have any specific update on that project at this time.
I mentioned Adam because he's taken over the responsibility of overseeing that.
Another hat.
end of it.
Well, I've been involved with park rangers for 6 or 7 years now. I will have an update as it relates to a few staffing changes within the city during my staff update
Okay,
at the end.
super. Good. All right, let's, all right, moving right along here. Let's see, let's get into the Sheriff's Department, Chief Shelley.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I'll be brief. So, second quarter of the fiscal year, which is October, November, and December, we had 5,975 calls for service, 1,900 of which were ops or self-initiated, and the rest were assigned calls or were, residents called dispatch, seeking assistance in some way or another. A total of 250 arrests, 2,000 citations. Our response time was 4 minutes and 51 seconds to priority 1 calls. So before we bash our fire partners here, their vehicles are quite a bit larger than ours, and our deputies are out in the area. So our deputies are in their area, smaller vehicles, and then a lot of times too, to give these guys kudos for the emergency calls where someone's not breathing or there's some sort of medical emergency, they beat us there. So I have to give them, a pat on the back for that. So a lot of times our calls for our response time will be lower because fire will beat us there. So we won't have to, add in that extra time. So kudos to those guys. And then lastly, we did have a couple noticeable arrests. A little bit of foreshadowing for this next quarter. We did have a 76-pound seizure of methamphetamine that our deputies participated in, which is huge for the city. And then I believe that's it. I'll be at that meeting on the 28th at Maxburg for the Overwatch meeting as well. So
Was that
was
the meth? Was that at a static facility, or was it en route somewhere?
it was off the freeway and we're out somewhere.
Okay.
Did you guys get it, or was it CHP, or?
It was us.
Oh, darn.
So we don't have a meth lab in the city somewhere that we don't know about.
No, sir.
And how about the flock cameras? How are they doing for you?
They're fantastic as usual. Yeah, nothing negative to report about them. They only aid in the technology aspect of our investigations.
Yeah, it's good to hear positive things because we want to keep that thing funded. So,
Yeah, I won't get too much into the technicality of how we came across the vehicle, but Flock was very, very good to us.
Good.
and others.
Yes, sir.
Things. That's the thing is I don't want the city council to think, oh, we don't have any feedback, so maybe we don't need it. That's far from the case, right?
Yes, sir.
It's a very good tool to have.
Thank you.
That response time is staggering, Chief. We're right now, not even our aircraft get there that quick, so.
Yeah, and so for priority 1 calls, I think as an agency, we try to be under 5 minutes, and a lot of contract cities don't necessarily get there. So I think we're in a really fortunate position to be able to be under that.
And your folks can actually make proactive arrests.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Different times.
Love it.
And they don't have the homeless problem with LAC.
Yeah, well, you don't have a homeless problem either, so
Right.
congratulations. Great numbers.
Chief Mall, any further?
I think I covered most of it. I don't remember last month if I covered, but we did do a really cool drill down at the pier. Did I cover that last month?
Yeah.
I did. Okay. So that was good stuff. Our dozers were out working in Camp Pendleton doing dozer school a couple weeks ago, so they finished that up, which is Really good training for our dozers to go out and practice, obviously for any wildfires, but it's really does a double win for San Clemente specifically because they cut all the fire roads and all the fire breaks. So the fire breaks coming off Camp Pendleton are looking really good right now. So that's good news. We're scheduled to do fire school also in June, beginning of June. So if you see smoke coming from Camp Pendleton in June, it's us out there doing fire school. But again, that's well coordinated, and it also burns off the vegetation between us and Camp Pendleton and puts up a good buffer for San Clemente. So that's a good thing. We did have the wildfire preparedness, so thank you, Nick, for being at that. We had Lori Davies put on the wildfire preparedness event on the 10th of this month in San Juan. It was for San Clemente, San Juan, Laguna Niguel, and Dana Point. So it was really well attended. A lot of San Clemente residents actually were there. So I think they were happy with that. The Sheriff's Department was there as well and gave a speech on evacuations, things like that. And I went through the Ready, Set, Go program. So it was good to have that, and it was good to see so many San Clemente residents there. And other than that, that's really all I have.
Had the insurance, state insurance folks there, and indicated the different companies, and they're upgrading how many percentage of increase in their premiums they're going to have looking forward to. And I saw that thing, and I went, oh, wait a minute, 21% for mine? That's substantial. So, I'm doing hardening on my home with attic baffles and all sorts of things, and I see if I can get a discount from the insurance company on that. And we'll get more on that because there's a lot of people that are interested in how do I reduce that, especially when we're increasing the amount of high-risk areas in town. So.
Yeah, I would definitely say do that and reach out to. I just talked to somebody the other day, actually at the Sheriff's Middle of Valor, which was really, really good event. I believe she lived in Laguna Niguel, but she did that. She hardened her home and worked with her insurance company. Actually had a reduction in rate this year, which was pretty staggering to hear. So that's good to hear.
That's important, sure. Okay, now we're down to marine safety. Chief Balak. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Our business hours have extended till 8 p.m. now. We're 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Since our last meeting, we've had over 105,000 beach visitors. We had 4,390 incidents, 14 swimmers rescued, 330 preventative actions, 3,327 public education contacts, 29 medical incidents, 625 law enforcement incidents, 2 requests for deputies assistance out of the 625. 2 stingray patients. We had 1 Ponga landing a couple days after our last meeting. 19 encampments reported. We've had about 12 marine mammals, sick or dead, that come up on the beach, ranging between pelicans, dolphins, and sea lions. Staffing, we're still limited staffing, 5 on the weekdays and 10 on the weekends. We just got out of spring break, the Capitol Unified School District, so that at least the fog was gone during that time for them. The surf, since our last meeting, we've had up to 5 to 7 foot surf. The water's ranged in the last month from 52 degrees to 62, quite a range right there. The towers, the 3 that were being constructed, 2 of them are out on the beach right now. One's at T Street and the other one's at Tower 1, south side of the pier. The third one will be at Linda Lane, probably within a month. The big news is the OCTA project. They were approved by the Coastal Commission for their emergency permit. That's going to start up soon. Area 1, 2 would be 30 days. And that's on the west side of the railroad tracks, and then Area 3, that's an 8-month project. So there'll be be interesting during that time. The Reiki training finished on March 30th. We promoted 9 of the 13 to Ocean Lifeguard 1s. Lifeguards have gone out to 3 schools since the last month for ocean safety presentations. One of them, the San Clemente High School. The JG swim test finished up. We had 389 tested, 296 passed. The registration, Tier 1, will open next Wednesday on April 30th. That's for San Clemente residents and new siblings. May 7th will be the new residents and returning non-residents, and then open registration will open on May 14th. And we've had 3 special events since the last meeting. That's it from community safety.
Okay, I have a question. What's the latest count on Ponga boats?
I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I think for San Clemente, since December, it's probably around 7 or 8.
Yeah, because I think it was like 7 last month or something, but it was abandoned boats that are coming up on the beach and stuff. Mariposa Bridge.
That's part of Area 3. That'll be in that 8-month project.
Okay.
They'll remove that and put a revetment wall, kind of like what they did behind headquarters. That'll go parallel to the tracks on the east side of the bridge. And it'll be just a beach trail going all the way through.
Okay.
They have a date that they may think it might be completed, or?
Right now it's tentative for 8 months, so that would take us to January.
I'll have to ask Adam if he knows about replacement for the Mariposa Bridge. If that's even being considered at all. I'll ask him later on that. Good. Anything else for?
Thanks, Chief.
Great job on the junior lifeguard program again.
Thank you.
Good job. Yeah, super. Okay. I'm going to hold my comments till the end. Committee members have any comments? Let's hear. Okay. City staff, you're on.
Thank you. I've got a couple announcements. At the last council meeting, council approved a couple things that directly impact the city's public safety services, or this committee specifically. The first is the changes to the city's committees and commissions. The council approved a modification to a number of city committees. For the Public Safety Committee, essentially what the council decided was to rename this committee to the Community Safety and Welfare Committee, and fundamentally use that new committee to house concerns that were previously addressed by the Human Affairs Committee and the Public Safety Committee. Specifically with the Human Affairs Committee, they were working on a number of projects that either had tie-ins to things like e-bikes, human trafficking, and some other related things like that. So the committee, the new committee, and I'll just say the CSWC for short, most of the section of the code related to the Public Safety Committee was revised to make these changes, but fundamentally the committee will move from 5 to 7 members. That 4 of the CSWC members will have a background or experience in public safety, with the other 3 members being selected at large, which could include additional public safety backgrounds or some human affairs, social service type of background. The functions of the Human Affairs Committee that the council wanted to continue with are being moved to this new committee's duties. There will be 1 member of this new committee that would be appointed annually to the Social Services Grants Subcommittee. That's a function that currently resides within the Human Affairs Committee. 2 of their members are on this grant selection committee for the Community Development Block Grant Program that the Community Development Department oversees. That's federal funds that we get from HUD. In the past, there were 2 members of the Human Affairs Committee that were selected for that. As it stands now, 1 member of that committee would be from this CSWC Committee, and the other one would be from the Beaches, Parks, and Recreation Commission. The committee will maintain attendance by our representatives from our public safety entities, with the understanding that the chiefs of those agencies or representative agencies or divisions within the city can elect to have somebody else attend the meeting in their place. And then the meetings are going to be moved to be held bi-monthly. So the council also determined that the existing committee members for the Human Affairs Committee and the Public Safety Committee that have terms that are extending into next year will have the option of moving onto that new committee. If terms are ending, the committee members will have the opportunity to apply for that new committee. At this point, we have 2 members of the Human Affairs Committee whose terms will continue on, and they have not indicated that they are going to resign at the end of this fiscal year. And there's 2 members of the Public Safety Committee that are in the same boat. So we've got essentially 4 members of the new committee already identified, assuming that everybody wants to continue on with the new committee, and an opportunity for 3 new members to join that new committee. Any questions on that?
And that starts July 1st?
Yes, that starts July 1st. So the clerk's office has sent out some information to the committee members through the city emails about the new this appointment process coming up. The availability of the positions will be published, I think starting pretty soon if they haven't been already, and the council will need to make appointments in May or June, and I know they've identified a date. I don't remember specifically when that date is. I think it's in early June.
Yeah, my understanding is the clerk is authorized to advertise that later this month, I think.
Yeah.
Like next week.
Yes, the new appointments need to be identified by the council before July 1st.
Right. Gonna be all sworn in, ready to go and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next item. At the last council meeting, this council also approved some staffing changes amongst various departments. The one that affects the work of the Public Safety Committee is an identification of where emergency management services will be housed within the city moving forward and what positions will be tied to that. So for that, the city will be putting out an internal recruitment for an emergency management specialist position. That position was posted today, and the application timeframe will close next week. And then the emergency management function will be housed within community development, and I will oversee that work plan. Any questions about that?
So it's not quite to its own department yet.
Emergency management is, that function would not be within its own department.
Right.
In the past, there have been some ideas about trying to establish a public safety department.
Right.
However, at this time, the city's resources do not facilitate another director level position being established.
Okay.
And so in response to the community development department taking on additional duties as it relates to emergency management, there are also some plans that still need to be finalized somewhat, but essentially the trade-off here is that a number of the public safety related functions that community development has been overseeing, such as the park ranger program will be moving under the city manager's office. I also have been dealing with the ambulance contract quite a bit. That will also get more focus under the city manager's department moving forward.
Okay. Good.
And that concludes my report.
Okay. Signs for the neighborhood involvement program. You know how much of a stack of those do we have available?
My contact with Public Works has been Rick Milam on that, and he's been out for the last couple of weeks, so I have not been able to follow up with him on that item. That program should really be going between Ryan at OCSD and Public Works directly. I'm just getting little pieces here and there, and I think it might benefit the committee to follow up with Ryan and see, because he's the one that's really telling Public Works staff what the status of our signs are, where we need new signs, that kind of thing.
Make sure they're up to date and
Yeah.
all that stuff, and ordering them as needed, that type of thing. So that's important. Okay. All right. So that leaves my comments. I want to thank all of our team members, and also I want to make a public announcement that I am looking for a replacement for my commission or committee member. I'm not going to re-up this next year. I've done 4 years, 2 terms. I know the city council is, at least one of the city council members is going for term limits, and I don't want to get involved in that one at all either. And so it's just let you know. So if we know of anybody that's good recruitment material, we'd love to do it. So we've got a new beginnings, and we'll go from there. So.
Great job, Nick.
And I appreciate all the support that I'm getting from everybody, including Tanya
Thank you.
and Miss Perez and Tom. Yeah. All right, let's think about our next adjournment to May 27th, 2025, 3 p.m. here at the City Hall.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. We're adjourned.